Welcome to Building Fortunes Radio. Make sure you check us out at buildingfortunesradio.com. Along with KISC, our Keep It Simple Circle marketing partners, we are here to help our Humongous AM and Humongous FM radio customers build their businesses and make the world a better place. At Building Fortunes Radio, we know how much your business means to you and the people important to you. So join us to make the world a better place. Spread the word, tell a friend, and go make a difference in your world. Now on to our show with your host, Peter Mingils. Take it away, Peter.
Hello, everyone. Peter Mingils here. You are listening to our BasketballCoach.News radio show on the Building Fortunes Radio Network. We are all over the place. We've been promoting this on BasketballCoach.News, and we put it on, of course, BuildingFortunesRadio.com and the .net version. We also put this on Humongous Radio, because it's really big, on the AM and the FM station as well. And then we rebroadcast this all over the place on Amazon, their podcasts, and Audible, and Apple's podcasts. And we put this on Spotify and iHeartRadio. And recently we figured out how to easily post this to YouTube and Facebook. So if it looks like we're everywhere, it's because we are. And the number of listeners are listening in, and you're in for a treat today. We are here with a good friend of mine. His name is Irvin Harris. And I always like to tell new listeners a little bit about our origin story. Irvin and I have grown old together. I mean, he's been one of our first customers way back, who knows when we got started, but we're talking like Y2K. Like, it's been that long ago, and many of you don't even remember or haven't even thought about Y2K forever ago. Well, we've been around since then. And I started doing some radio shows in 2012. Irvin and his wife were doing a couple of radio shows with us as well when we were talking about home-based businesses. And then, we did some other things. And he got sick for a little bit, and recently I was talking to him over the last couple of months, and I said, the only problem we're having here, Irvin, is, we're having interesting conversations, and only you and I are talking. And the only people that are listening in is probably the U.S. government or maybe the Chinese government, but we need regular people listening in as well. So I just kind of had him say that. And then I was thinking, we're building our KISC book, KISC, which stands for the Keep It Simple Circle, and that's a great way to be able to manage distractions and keep yourself more productive. And I said, I got to call Irvin. I need an excuse to talk to him more frequently. So he's a basketball coach as well, and he can probably give us a KISC, a Keep It Simple Circle, for basketball coaches, and maybe a KISC for basketball players, and maybe even a KISC for athletic directors, and maybe even a KISC for parents, and a KISC for people that are attending basketball games. And who knows where this will go, but at least I'll be able to have a cool conversation with a good friend, Irvin Harris, at least once a week. And that's how this got started. Well, I mentioned something about, he said, what's your email address or whatever. I said, use the simple one, peter@peter.news. And he said, oh, .news? What's that? And I said, come on, Irvin, we own MLM.news and directselling.news and a whole bunch of other .news. You should probably think about BasketballCoach.News. And before I even finished the sentence, he had already bought it. So he is a go-getter. He already had it nailed. So I didn't even have to check to see if it was available. He already bought it. So if you go to BasketballCoach.News, you'll be able to hear this as well as some of the previous radio shows. And I'm always really tickled because we started off ourselves talking a little bit about basketball, and he's had some really great guests. And today is another really good guest. And we actually changed our day to do this recording from Monday to Tuesday because he's busy doing his Change the World things on Monday afternoon during the same time. So we moved our schedule around to be able to have this special guest here, and I'll let Irvin Harris do the introduction. Irvin, thanks for being here, and thanks for all the wonderful things that you do.
Peter, thank you very much for having me here on this Building Fortunes platform, and I really appreciate that and appreciate the wonderful, great things that you always talk about, especially in our introductions. And it was before 9/11, I tell you that. Y2K is somewhere around in that period.
It was around that time?
Yeah, it was like a few weeks ago, something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say this too much here, but I'd like to say good evening to our audience and welcome them to another powerful edition of Building Fortunes Radio on the BasketballCoach.News segment with Peter Mingils. We are the hosts, and we work together, and I am a co-host with Peter. And tonight, we're heading to Boston, Massachusetts to talk to a man who truly lives his brand name. My guest is Stephen Michael Wilson Jr., also known as Mr. Go Get It. He's the founder and CEO of Go Get It Enterprises. It's an LLC, and it's a company he launched in 2015. He did this out of passion to be a cornerstone and help everyday people start businesses and build them into hard-hitting, recognizable, everyday brands. Now, my understanding, Go Get It Enterprises is an advisory group for the business professionals specializing in branding, consulting, keynote speaking, marketing, in two very important areas for our audience tonight: officiating solutions and security services. But Stephen is so much more than a CEO. He is a Boston-based basketball referee, and he's patched with the IAABO Board 27. He's a community activist, youth mentor, violence reduction professional, and the founder of Black Men United. He is on the front lines tackling the national referee shortage by running a junior referee certification program alongside the Boston Public Schools, training the next generation of student and community officials. His work has been honored by the Titus Foundation with a referee award for the community basketball training and youth development. Stephen, he is a man who understands that the whistle is not just about calling fouls. It's about leadership opportunity and building fortunes in our youth and our communities. So please welcome me in welcoming to Building Fortunes Radio, my friend and our special guest, Stephen Michael Wilson Jr. Mr. Go Get It. Stephen, welcome to the show, and you can tell us a little bit about yourself, and we can go ahead and get started with this segment.
Well, it's very, very, very glad to be here with you and Peter, and I'm listening to the introduction, and I'm like, this guy is really something, but it doesn't sound like it's me, so I appreciate the beautiful introduction. I feel honored to be on here with two giants, and I'm really humbled by the time that y'all are gracing me to come on your platform.
Thank you so much for being here. And, is there anything that you want to add in reference to your story, Mr. Go Get It?
Well, thank you for doing the research and naming these small achievements and accolades. But I'm just a kid from Roxbury, Mission Hill section of Boston, and I just have a great passion for truly helping people. It gives me joy to help people in the things that I've mastered over the last 25 years in law enforcement, executive protection, security, armed security, and like you said, sports officiating. All those things are my passion, and I've mastered those things somewhat. So what I just try to do, I don't try to reinvent the wheel, Coach. I basically, take what I know and master it, and I try to just give it back to somebody else that, might find, some value in it. And that's about it. But that just comes with the relationships that I built for the last 20 years, just by doing the hard work and trying to be the best version of me every time I show up. Just like the relationship me and you fostered, from you being a very, very, great coach, but a true gentleman also on the hardwood. We fostered a relationship that took us from the hardwood to the radio station. And that just shows that, the number one key in life is to build relationships. When you can build relationships and they're genuine, they go on for a lifetime.
Well, Stephen, I'm a believer in, good people connect for great reasons. And you and I have an awful lot in common in reference to experience. But, man, based upon the research and everything that I've done on you, you know how to go get it, man. I mean, only if I had that going on. You don't want to get Peter started with that, but, man, Mr. Go Get It, I love it. And what I like to start off with is, a question for you. And this is for our listeners, and it has to do with your handle. I mean, typically, we add this or talk about this at the end of the show about how people can get a hold of you. But I had to, start off with this. You're at Mr. Go Get It 24/7, 365. I love that. that's your Instagram handle. At Mr. Go Get It 24/7, 365, and that's everywhere. So can you tell us what Go Get It means to you personally, and why 24/7, 365?
Well, I mean, it's not really, anything rocket science. It's basically when I started Go Get It Enterprises LLC, that's the name of the company, Go Get It, and I just put the Mr. in front of it, and that's where it came from. But I started the company with the same basics, like I said earlier, to just help people. And the way I help people the most is by my mistakes. I learn from my mistakes, and I try to show that information to other people to say, hey, this is the best way to approach it. And some people might say, how do you know that? Because I did it the wrong way, and I failed many times doing it the wrong way. So my failures became my victories, and they can be your victories as well. So no rocket science to it. The name of my company is Go Get It Enterprises LLC, and with that, I just put the Mr. in front of it, and I try to use those tags on all my social medias if I can. But it's actually just Mr. Go Get It 247 is the personal for Instagram, and the business is Go Get It 247 365. But thank you for bringing that out, Coach. Well, I see that you really took your time and research and did the correct research. So shout out to you and Peter.
Well, thank you
for being true. Thank you for being true journalists. So I appreciate that very much.
Well, I appreciate you being here, and I'm going to steal your words that you just used a little bit ago. With that, you launched Go Get It Enterprises LLC back in I think sometime in 2015. I mean, if you want to give the month, and if you have that information, you can. What was the moment you knew you had to move from passion to actually starting the company Go Get It Enterprises?
Well, the reason why I started, Coach, and thank you for the question is a great question, is I saw that I was always being contacted 7 days a week about certain things. Could I connect somebody with this, or how did I do that? So I was already doing the work. So I was just thinking, like, how can I monetize this? Because I'm doing it already. People call me every day like, hey, can you set me up with this? Or can you put me in the room with this person? How do I go about doing this? So I said, okay, then. I'm a natural connector. I love connecting people, and that's where it came from. I was already doing the work anyway, and I was doing it for free. So I would say, well, if I'm bringing value to people, I might as well get compensated for it. So it's just simple formula. It goes right back to the same thing, building relationships, Coach.
Okay. So obviously you have a mission, and I would assume that your mission is to guide entrepreneurs and institutions into hard-hitting, recognizable, everyday brands. So what is the biggest mistake that you see everyday people make when they try to start a business?
Another great question, man. You right now you batting 1,000 with these questions. I stole this, and this is not mine. So I just wanted everybody to know this, and I'm going to tell you where it comes from. But there's a book and a teacher out of Stanford, and he talks about the 7 rules of power, and that's where I basically got it from, not knowing that that's where I got it from. And rule number 1 in the 7 rules of power is get out your own way. And I think, not that I think, but I know that's the number one problem we have is that we always doubt ourselves, or we let people around us in our circle doubt us for us, and that's the number one problem. When you can get out your own way and you have true confidence in yourself and your abilities, and you're not really worried about what people think about you, what they say about you, that is the foundation of true greatness.
Okay,
so
and
get out of your own way.
Okay. Well, what you probably can do is you can add something from this show to the things that you do, and you could KISC it, KISC. Now you're part of the Keep It Simple Circle. And, Peter Mingils, that is his. Yep. Peter, you got anything to say about KISC, or can we move on?
No, it takes me 2 seconds to do the KISC thing. When I was running a sales organization for Electrolux, I was in my branch meeting one day, and we were talking about, making sure that we simplify things. We add levels of complexity, and it kind of messes up the duplication and the stuff that we're working on, and it's harder to remember. And one of the guys in the room said, "Oh, the KISS formula." And everybody said, "Yeah, the KISS formula." And I said, "What's the KISS formula?" It sounds creepy. A whole bunch of guys telling me about a KISS formula. And the Keep It Simple Stupid formula, or Keep It Simple Salesperson formula. I'm like, wait a minute. All you guys know the KISS formula, and you keep complicating everything? Well, to me, the KISS principle ain't working. So that really bothered me. Like, everybody knew that they had to keep it simple. They knew the name of it, but they complicated the frig out of it. So I kind of put a pen to paper with it, and I said, well, if everybody knows it, how do I make it work? And that's when I just did a circle, because I used to draw stuff. And when I drew my circle, I said, this is a Keep It Simple circle, KISC. So then we just have to figure out what activities stay in the circle and not do any of the ones that aren't in the circle, and there you go. So for me, it was something I could write down on a napkin, and I've used it forever. And the key point is what I'm going to do next part of my circle. And if it's not, then I just don't do it, or I don't do it now, or maybe I never do it ever. So it kind of fits into the stuff, and that's why I bring Irvin here, because he brings up a lot of KISC stuff, and for our Building Fortunes Radio listening audience. And for Steve, Steve, you could use it, of course, because it is kind of like part of the whole go get it. Like, you got to figure out what you're going to do and then manage the distractions. So back to you guys. There you go, like 2 minutes.
Okay, well, one thing I always need to do, Peter, and, you've probably got me on this, I always have to make sure that I don't digress or divert. But, we're talking to an official here, but he's done a lot of things, and I know I have some plans for the future to bring a guest on the show. And I'm going to say this real quick, and I will move on. I'm not going to mention the name or anything, but his brother played with Prince. And his name is Jerome. Jerome was with Prince. Somebody bring me a mirror, and when I was traveling worldwide, and I think I was coming from San Francisco, and a referee that fouled me out of a basketball game in high school, and we were playing in the Civic Auditorium. He actually refereed one of the Super Bowls. Well, he's one of Jerome's brothers, and we got an official on the line right now. But again, that's a story we'll get into, because I'm planning on having one or two. I know one guy is going to be on a future show, but let's get back to this topic here. There's nothing worse than getting fouled out of a game, and I know that's something that Steven's probably experienced. Calling fouls on people, and and wow, it's tough when you're playing in a big arena and you get 3 fouls in a row. And I didn't, Steven, I didn't foul anybody, man. Let's get back to this. Yes.
Coach, that sounds familiar. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't foul anybody. You're blind, ref. Sounds familiar.
Exactly. But apparently you're not blind, because you were able to identify some pillars. And I believe it was 6 pillars, because you list those. And I found that, when I, did a little bit of digging on you, and those pillars are branding, consulting, keynote speaking, marketing, officiating solutions, and security service. And my question is, how do those all connect under one roof?
Great question again, man. You do a great job, man. I'm gonna have to hire you for some security and some detective work and go get the information. They all connect pretty easily, even though it sounds difficult. It all connects because it's the work that I naturally do and my God-given talents that the Creator gave me. So branding is branding. Branding is you. You know, we ourselves, Coach and Peter, we're all brands. Myself. So that's one thing I try to teach people is the first brand that you need to, really think about is yourself. That's before you think about starting a company or doing all that work, the first brand is yourself. So that's a good way to always start. The other thing, the consulting piece, the same thing I'm talking about. Like if you do something and somebody pays you for that. And I always tell people, if somebody pays you for 12 to 16 months, you have a good baseline in that to consult. Somebody else is paying you to do something, so now you can take that information and become a consultant. We all have that ability, not just me, not just Coach or Peter. We all have that. The marketing piece is when you understand, the branding and consulting, that's going to already have you set up to understand I have to get this information out to the masses. Marketing. Me coming on this wonderful show that y'all provided me this amazing opportunity. I love being on here and I like to give this information out, but it's still what? Marketing. And this is called cross-marketing and cross-branding because we got 3 people on this call that have 3 different brands and we're cross-marketing and cross-branding. And this makes that even more powerful because we are now helping each other. And we're helping each other for free and wishing each other the best with true energy and, and true, bringing value to the table and wanting each other to succeed. So, we got the branding, we got the consulting, now we got the marketing. So that's how it all ties in together. Really, you can't have one without the other. It's an ecosystem that is, interlocked together. And that's why I selected these things because you can't have one without the other, and you can't start one without understanding the other one needs to be done as well. And once again, Coach, you're asking great questions, man. I can see that you're a 5-star A+ at this, man. And I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate that.
I don't think. Hold on, I gotta jump in. I don't think.
Oh no.
I think all the things that Coach mentioned could fit into a keep it simple circle, but I got to leave the complimenting one out. Like, that's enough. That's enough. That's outside the circle.
Well, you know what? He definitely knows how to go get it, because him and I got an opportunity. I can't remember. I think you might have refereed a game or 2 that I coached, if I can recall it, but I know that you did.
I did, absolutely.
Oh, okay, well, I don't really.
The last game is I came to your house.
In
HTI, and y'all was playing. I can't remember the other team, but it was a great game, very competitive. And the other coach wasn't too much of a gentleman, but you, per usual, always a gentleman, always invited.
Thank you.
Know how to speak and talk to the officials. And sometimes we got to understand, good, bad, or indifferent. Always be a professional. Sometimes we all fall short, including myself. But those things go a long, long way.
Well, I believe in treating people the way that I would like to be treated, and unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't always come back at us the way that we put it out there. And you being an official, being an hour away from home, and officials drive all over the place. And speaking of officiating and solutions, everybody in basketball, is not just down in the Boston area. It's further south of Boston and all the way up to the Canadian border. I think it's safe to say. Everybody in basketball, they're talking about the referee shortage, and there's a reason for that crisis. Now, in Boston, you stepped up with the IAABO Board 27 what are you seeing, on the ground in reference to that solution? Well, obviously, you're training officials and everything, younger people, and some might be looking for an opportunity. But as far as like at the ground level, what are you seeing in reference to filling those voids? And are there a lot of people that are showing interest in helping resolve the officiating issue or shortage?
Absolutely. Thanks for the question, Coach. So what I did was I seen the problem, and I just put a solution in. I contacted the IBO president, and for everyone listening doesn't know what IBO stands for, it stands for International Association of Approved Basketball Officials. All right, so that's what it stands for. And when me contacting the president, the international president, saying that I want to bring the junior IBO program to the city of Boston and Boston Public Schools. And he approved it. I already had a men's group that I created in 1999. So I had the men's group. I had the group of young people. I partnered with Boston Public Schools with the school Community Academy of Science and Health. We took them young men, taught them up, got them ready for the program. The program is $15 for anybody 18 and under. If you're 18 plus, it's $110, and that's when you actually take the test. And if you pass the test, you're all set. If you fail it, you have to take it again. So now the test and everything's online. It's all digital now, so it's a powerful setup that Mr. Donnie Epley set up for everybody worldwide. All you need is a computer and Wi-Fi now to take the test. The junior program is your foundation to get you trained up online and in the books. And then we'll take you on the court to get you ready when you turn 18 plus to take the actual test. Test is $110. You pass that, your dues are $99 a year, and then you're off to the races. Get your uniform and get on the court and start, having on the job training. So that's basically how I did it. The ecosystem's already built. I already had the young people. I already had the men's group. I already had the partnership with Boston Public Schools. All I needed was to present that opportunity to the young men, and the young men, they loved it. They ate it up. And out of the first 32 people, we had 19 immediately pass and go through, and now they're working for me now. And most of them are working this summer with the Boston Neighborhood Basketball League. So it works. It's a simple process, and everybody wins. So thanks for the question. And as you know, it's a passion for me because I love helping people, and I love giving people opportunities that are real, tangible opportunities, Coach.
Well, some of the listeners that will be hearing this down the road, they may not know about the opportunity, but this might give them something to think about. Becoming part of a solution, becoming a zebra, put on those striped shirts, and it provides an opportunity and a chance to be able to make a little bit extra money. And as far as leadership and character, because that's the first thing that I think about. Anytime you get an opportunity like that, from my experience coaching and seeing officials, I'm not good. Just put it this way: it's a tough job being an official because a lot of coaches and even players, they don't agree with the calls that you made. But my advice to coaches listening, you got to learn how to do your job above and beyond the calls. Throughout life, there's going to be calls that are made outside of, whether you like it or not, a type of situation. You just deal with it and move on. Prepare your players to play. And as far as the character being built and, referees that you are developing, just give us a little bit of a word on the leadership aspects that they can get out of what the opportunity that you're providing for them through connecting with the schools and giving younger people, players, or anybody interested in becoming an official? How does it help them from a leadership and character standpoint?
Yes, sir. Another great question, sir. Becoming a basketball official and really doing it well will immediately change your life and make you a better person, man or woman, because being a good basketball official forces you to do a lot of things with organization and being a person of good, high value and character when you get into this. So it's going to force you right off the bat to pay attention to detail. You're going to have to take the test. You're going to have to pass the test. You're going to have to pay your dues. You're going to have to take the floor test. You're going to have to order a uniform. You're going to have a calendar. You're going to have to organize your calendar. You're going to have the driver's license and the vehicle to get around. You're going to have to be able to foster relationships and shake hands and kiss babies, as I say. You're going to have to network. All these things are part of becoming a basketball official and going up from the ladder, from passing the test, getting on the floor, doing youth games, doing some type of men's leagues and CYO from that point on, doing middle school games, JV games, or sub-varsity to varsity, and eventually after honing your skills doing that, getting to the college level. But you have to be a good person first. Number two, you have to be a person that's going to be organized and going to have to really believe on sharpening their skills and honing their craft. And then after that, and you got those pieces in, you start to see how it will change you. It will force you to be on time. It will force you to be organized. It will force you to be a good communicator with people, even in tough situations. It will force you to be able to think, move well on your feet in a pressured situation, but still be a professional. So becoming a basketball official on any level is wonderful, but basketball, and in my personal opinion, is the most difficult sport to officiate, period. And it will make you a better person. It will make you have a great hand-eye coordination. It will speed up your eyes, speed up your brain and your brain processing. It's just a wonderful thing for anyone to get into at any age, Coach. So those are just some of the key points. I can talk about this for hours, as you know, so I'll stop there.
Well, you know what? You're absolutely 100% correct, because I know I started the show off. I didn't know that we would be getting into this, but as far as a lot of players, people have dreams of Division I, and they might actually wind up D1, or starting off as an official, they might wind up refereeing the NBA championship game. Anything is possible. It's just a matter of them applying themselves. And obviously, you're offering that pathway to get them started in officiating. And I'm sure that from your efforts, I also saw something about you being honored by the Titus Foundation, with a referee award, for youth development work. What did that recognition that you received mean to you and even the kids you mentor?
Wow, great question again. Well, what it really meant that my work for the last 25 years has impacted the city that I truly love. And also, basketball being my first love, giving back to my first love for everything that orange little spear has done for me as a player, as a coach, as a basketball official, as an admin. So it was very touching because I was shocked to get it. I didn't know that people, put my information and name in, and getting that from a legend. If you know anything about Mr. Charlie Titus and the Titus Foundation, Charlie Titus is a pillar in the Boston community, and he's a giant in the Boston basketball community. His works over the last 40 years are stellar and amazing. So to be recognized by him, and then later being recognized by Senator Nick Collins, it was powerful, and it shows that I'm on the right track for, doing this type of work. But my last point of what you just said about, helping people get into this space, I won't mention the gentleman, but there's a gentleman I met 5 years ago, Coach, and I seen something great in him, and he was still trying to find his path. He was trying to play, coach, and I said, man, won't you just give it up because you're short, you're slow. Won't you come to the dark side and rest? He's like, I don't know. I don't believe in that. Long story short, we connected, we exchanged numbers, and I said, look, first step, take the test. I took the test, and I cut the story. I won't go too long. But 5 years later, with hard work, guidance, and a lot of perseverance from him, he just got signed to the NBA G League full time.
Nice.
This young man was working at a golf course part time and at Planet Fitness, and now is full time G League basketball official. And it feels good to have a part of that. It's like I'm a proud father or proud uncle to this young man, and he's a great young man. He's working hard, doing the work, and it's just powerful to see that my formula, the program, and what I developed really works, and people are seeing value in it, and they're moving on, and they're just taking off, man. Sky's the limit. So with that award, it meant a lot. But what really meant a lot more than that is seeing this young man in his 20s get that opportunity. So I stop right there. I can go on further.
Oh, okay. Well, I have another question, but based upon what you said, I'm just kind of wondering, is this young man out of the Boston area or out of the Lowell, Massachusetts area?
Oh, good question. Yeah, it's funny. Well, the gentleman from the Lowell, Massachusetts area, I didn't have anything to do with that. But this gentleman out of the Connecticut area already. The gentleman that you're speaking about from the Lowell area, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. He's the next one up. Maybe this year or the next couple of years, he'll definitely get his shot at the NBA. And that's Julian Scott.
Okay.
Shout out to my brother Julian Scott. Julian Scott's one of the best.
How did you know who I was talking about?
Because I'm gonna tell you why I know, because this is what I do. I do it 7 days a week. Julian Scott is one of the best referees on the planet. You know what I'm saying? So Julian Scott is phenomenal. He's doing some of the same things I'm doing, even on a higher level. He got with some couple of his childhood friends, and they put together this amazing basketball tournament, as you already know. And what he does is he brings all the G League guys and all the guys in the NBA referee pipeline program. They come and ref from all parts of the country in this tournament. So, I mean, Jay Scott is the guy. And
yes.
And you know what I'm saying? He's a good man and an amazing basketball official referee.
Did you know that I was his coach in the 90s before 2000? And it wasn't basketball. Yes, it was football. And I think you and I have crossed paths with a few young men. But, again, that's for a conversation later. And I have a question before we go to a radio show. You have a background in public safety, violence reduction, and interesting that you and I both have similar backgrounds. I was 11 years in law enforcement. As a matter of fact, I attended Boston Academy when I moved here from the Midwest, and also was sworn in as a sheriff, down in Middlesex, along with a lot of other different experiences. But, your background in public safety, violence reduction, how has officiating become a tool for violence prevention and community involvement?
Yeah, yes, sir. Amazing question again. I've been in law enforcement for the last 25 years, starting off with the Boston School Police. I was with that department for over 20 years. I left Boston School Police, and I went to the Massachusetts Police Training Committee, where I was the director of physical testing for the entire Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I left the MPTC, went to the Sheriff's Department, Suffolk County Sheriff's Department, to be a deputy sheriff like yourself, investigator. I left the Sheriff's Department and went to the United States Department of Veteran Affairs. And I left that now. I am the Director of Operations for the Ella J. Baker House Violence Reduction Task Force. So, yes, I got a little bit of experience in law enforcement and violence prevention. And the question that you asked is so great because you'll see a lot of basketball officials that come out of law enforcement, and a lot of folks that are in law enforcement that are all type of officials in every sport, because it's a simple thing when I tell people what great referees are. The greatest referees do one thing, they do it very well. They are great managers of people, Coach. They can manage people. And if you can manage people, you can do well in sports officiating. That's all it is, man, just managing people. And if you can do that, and if you can chase it and try to master it, you'll climb up the ladder pretty quickly.
Okay. Well, Peter, you have a question. You want to do a commercial, or come back after?
Yeah, we'll do our little commercial break, and I'm going to throw in a couple of comments as we go. So here we go. Thanks for listening in.
You've been listening to a special broadcast of the Building Fortunes radio show on Building Fortunes Radio and the Humongous Radio Network. If you are interested in the world's best AI receptionist and AI business building platform, you will want to get your AI receptionist from humongous.com. Go to the specials page on humongous.com. That's YOUMONGUS.com/specials. Explore how small business owners and major corporations are using Humongous AI receptionists to do everything from answering incoming calls to scheduling appointments and even answering customer service questions. Your AI receptionist can do everything from making sure you never miss a call to texting reminders and follow-ups and even upgrading and closing more sales. Your AI receptionists will help you increase your productivity in just about everything. Building Fortunes Radio suggests you have to check them out on the specials page on humongous.com. That's YOUMONGUS.com/specials. You can make your world a better place and help others do the same with the AI receptionists at humongous.com. Now, back to our Building Fortunes radio show. Take it away, Peter.
And we're back. Peter Mingils here with Stephen Wilson and, of course, Coach Irvin Harris, and you're on BasketballCoach.News. And I just want to jump in and change the subject just a second. But we decided that we were going to do this radio show on Tuesday because on Monday at this time, you do something really special for the community. So do you want to tell us what you do on Mondays at 5 o'clock usually?
Yes, sir. On Mondays, we have a beautiful initiative that we do, and we kind of revisited and brought back after the horrific July 4th incidents that happened in Boston. We had multiple shootings, and we lost 3 lives July 4th of this year. So myself and the organization that I founded, the Black Men United Boston, along with the 10,000 Fearless, we just sat down and said, what can we do? So we basically came up with a plan to mobilize as many black men as possible to go to the neighborhoods that were affected by the shootings and just give as much support that we could with giving information to folks about, anything they needed, from trauma services to how to connect to all the city programs and the county programs. So since July 4th, we've been going out every Monday. We start at 6 o'clock on 2 Washington Street in Dorchester, Mass. at the Torchlight Recovery Cafe. We had a great walk last night in the Mattapan Square section of Boston, where we had about 70 brothers, and we had a special guest last night, District Attorney Kevin Hayden of Suffolk County. Actually did the whole walk with us. We usually start at the cafe with, some directions from Minister Randy Muhammad, and then from there we will pray, and then we'll go into the neighborhood that we want to address. And yesterday we addressed Mattapan Square. Since July 4th, we did Mattapan Square. We've done Ashmont. We've done Geneva and Bowdoin in the 500 block of Blue Hill Avenue and Faiston Street. So we've been doing this work, trying to get as much information and resources to the people affected by the senseless shootings at that time, but also showing the public and the city of Boston that black men do care. Black men do come out and do the work. Black men are great fathers, great leaders, and try to reverse the stigma that you hear about black men, not just in Boston but around the world. So, Peter, thank you so much for that question.
That's a big thing. What a great example. So besides on the basketball court, you're taking it to the streets, making a difference in your community. So I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I didn't know where that would fit in with the conversation, but I figured let me just mention that because we started off this radio show telling people that you do some important things for the community. So, Coach Irvin Harris, back to you.
Well, condolences to the family who lost loved ones in Boston to violence is absolutely unnecessary. And your mission, Stephen, starting and being the founder of Black Men United, man, keep doing that work because that's some powerful stuff. And you want to talk about being able to help rally a community and get community together to work together to stand up for them to rise and to work towards building as opposed to devastation and loss and death. So again, condolences to those out there that lost their loved ones, and you wearing a lot of hats. Being a CEO, referee, activist, mentor, speaker, that's a lot of stuff to balance. So how do you balance being that businessman and being that community servant, and are they really separate?
Well, I think you answered the question for me. They're not separate. They all tie in together because if you're a businessman and if you're a CEO and you're saying that you're from this neighborhood, your businesses, are connected to the neighborhood, they're all the same. So I use each one of them and I bounce off all of them. So if I meet a young man that's looking for work and wants to, leave the street life, I say, hey, look, this is what some opportunities we got within my company or my network. And it's just all wraparound services. It's all about just connecting people and connecting good people, and showing these young folks that are people out here that love and care for them and provide as many opportunities as possible from the bottom of our heart. And that's all it is. And the last point I wanted to do, it makes it seems like a lot, but it's not. I do, sometimes get a little overwhelmed if I don't jump on the information quickly and schedule and put stuff in my calendar. But other than that, it's just good. It's good work that when you take a shower at the end of the night and go to sleep, you can sleep with a clear conscience because you're really trying to help people for the right reasons. Yes.
Now, you've been the keynote speakers at places, and it was just like here, and messages that you want to get out. Now, think of this. You walk into a room, and there's young athletes or aspiring entrepreneurs. What is the core go-get-it message you want them to leave with?
The core message I want everyone to leave with is that no matter what you think or hear, you can accomplish anything you want, but you have to do the work. Everything is you. You don't really have any competitors. You don't have anyone that you're going against. The only competitor that you have in your life is you. It's always you against yourself. You're never fighting a system, whatever. You're the number one focal point. When you work on yourself and try to bring forth the best version of you, then everything will open up, because the only thing we can control in life is ourselves, is our emotions and what we think, good, bad, or indifferent. So that's the message right there. And when you understand that, it will give you the ability to go get anything you want.
Okay. One thing that I always like to think about also is, I usually like to face the door when I go out to restaurants and eat, and it's just a habit. Now you have security services or a security services division, and there are events like AAU basketball events and even schools and games, and the athletic directors or AAU directors. What should every youth basketball director be doing right now to keep games safe for the officials, players, and families when they're holding an event?
Well, you asked a very difficult question because I don't want to get anybody upset. And I think that what I do know is this, that in Boston and New England, we have more basketball AAU programs than anywhere else in the world. And it's been developed, as you already know, Coach, as a serious money-making, business platform. But with that being said, the thing with this business platform that most organizations look at the least is referees and the security. Those are the last two things these directors and organizations look at. And with that being said, that's a huge problem. We do have a shortage of basketball officials, but the reason why is that they're not being paid correctly, they're not being valued, and they're being treated, terribly. And that's why we have a shortage. It's hard to tell somebody to go out for $27 to $35 a game, get yelled at, screamed at, threatened, and sometimes get attacked. And guess what happens? Nothing really happens because the director's more concerned about the teams that are coming in, bringing the money, than a basketball referee. So I would say that if they worry more about security and the referees, you would have a better product with good security, better referees by paying what they're worth, not what you want to pay.
And what you saying that, I've had the experience of being able to work directly with arbiters, and from what you started to show off with and complimenting me, just this past year, I was able to get the best referees to come in. Just, again, I'm not really, patting myself on the back, but it is what it is. I got some of the best referees to come in and referee games that they normally wouldn't even come to referee, and they said they did it just because I was there. And I'm just going to leave it at that. And, referees, they should treat themselves as a business. That's my opinion. Now, what advice do you give officials about branding and marketing themselves?
Well, my first thing, like I said earlier, is remember the first part of branding and marketing yourself is understanding that you yourself are a brand. So understand that if you are a brand, you should do everything possible to make sure your brand stands out and looks better than the other brands. And that's by coming in and, being in shape, being a good person, being respectful, being kind, and work hard. And when you do these things, you'll get that information, and that information will go out there, and people will know that I want that person on my game, or I need that person to work into my tournament. So I just tell all officials, remember that you are a brand. John X is a brand, or Tim is a brand, and Tom's a brand. Or you're a brand. Work on having the best brand possible when you leave the house and you go take any game that you're going to work.
Well, Stephen, man, there's so many questions that I would like to ask, but I'm looking to try to cover as much as I possibly can. And, let's kind of get back to the beginning and, kind of take this to head towards home, because we only got X amount of time left on this interview segment. And I would like to ask you, what is the big goal for Go Get It Enterprises in the next 2 to 3 years, and where do you want to take officiating solutions? Or do you want to take officiating solutions nationally?
Yes, I do want to take it nationally, and the goal for my company and my foundation and program is to leave it to my children and my family. That's the goal, to build something that is so, great and powerful that it almost runs itself. I can pass it on to my children and family for generational wealth. And yes, I want to build this nationally, and I'm getting to that point slowly but surely. I had the great opportunity to run a referee camp with Harvard University and Coach Tommy Amaker in June and July. I had one day in July for the team camp, and I had 2 dates in June. I had 1 day in June and 2 days here in July last weekend. We just finished up. So I want to shout out Coach Tommy Amaker and Harvard University men's basketball program for giving myself and my company, Go Get It Enterprises, LLC, the opportunity to show officials how it's done, but also do it for one of the best coaches in the country and a true gentleman, and Coach Tommy Amaker.
Okay. So, from our listening audience, we might want to give them a little bit of information about you on how you can be contacted. If there's a school district, an AAU program, or a rec league department that's listening to this show, and they are looking for referees, how can they partner with you, or where can you be found?
Thank you for that. Anybody looking for me for referees or security or somebody to break down and put a program together for you, I'm your guy. Thank you for that, Coach. My name is Stephen Wilson. Everyone has my cell phone number. It's 617-593-2277. My cell phone number is 617-593-2277. My email is Stephen with a V, Steven, middle initial M as in Michael, last name Wilson, WILSONJR@gmail.com. And my website is gogetit247.com. Those are the best way to contact me. If you call me and I don't pick up, leave a message, and always the best way is to text me. And I appreciate that, Coach, for giving me the opportunity to give that information out to the people on your great show we have here.
Well, a lot of coaches, I'm sure be listening to BasketballCoach.News because there's so many platforms out there, and obviously you'll be able to point them to the right directions. And I don't see how a coach could better support and partner with young officials, instead of running them out of the game, because that's one thing coaches need to think about. So if you were to give a little bit of advice to some of the coaches, because you've seen a lot and you refereed a lot of games, what kind of advice would you give to a coach that's bringing their players along, and how to deal with the officials? I mean, if my question makes sense, because that's one of the things that I always felt was important. What advice would you to give to coaches on how to prepare their athletes, not only for maybe a future playing in college or at a higher level? What advice would you give them, or maybe even become an official? What do you have to tell the coaches? Go ahead.
Well, first of all, coaches and everyone listening, we're human just like you are. And we want to be respected just like you want to be respected. So I think the first thing is just respect all officials as human beings that are coming to work, doing a tough job, and trying to make a little money at the same time. That's one. Number two, learn the rules. Get the book, read it, so you can understand the way that we're taught. A big thing between referees and coaches that I still don't understand why we don't have more solutions to this is that coaches are built one way, to coach their team and get the best out of their team. But referees are taught totally different. Referees are taught to learn the rules and manage the rules on the court. So there's the disconnect. And if you see any good program, especially on the Division I level, a lot of assistant coaches are told by the head coach to do what? To take the test, read the book, so they can have that information to give back to the head coach. So that will go a long way. My last point is we're trained also, coaches, listen to this, to not really respond to statements, but to respond to professionally asked questions. And then we can come back and give you those answers, not screaming, yelling, or et cetera. Because we can't scream and yell at the coaches or the players, but everyone thinks they can scream and yell at us. So those are just some small points and key areas that I would throw out there pretty quickly, Coach.
Okay, and one quick statement that I would like to give to players that are listening. When the referee makes a call, please, I don't want to see palms up in the air and you looking at them. And another thing, if you're looking to make it to the big leagues, everybody's watching, especially the film games or whether it's AAU, high school, whatever. They see you. They even see you during timeouts. Attitude actually is everything. So do everything you can to make sure that you're building the best or presenting the best attitude you possibly can if you want to succeed in life in general. Peter, do you have anything?
No, I think this is great. Hopefully we'll be able to have them come back and give us more examples of what's happening. I'm interested in the basketball stuff, but I'm also interested in the stuff on the street because both of them make a big difference. And it'd be nice to be able to have some examples of his Monday evening walks and the impact that it has on the community because that's what really matters as well. So it's good, all good stuff. So Stephen Wilson, thanks for being here. Thanks for taking some extra time out, and thanks for the hour or so you gave us. And I'll make sure we have all the show notes posted, and if anybody wants to get in touch with you, I'll make sure all your contact information is there as well.
Well, Stephen,
thank you so much.
Do you have anything you would like to say? Because I just want to make a last statement heading out of this show. Anything you want to say to the audience?
No, I thank you for the opportunity. It was a truly great show, and very, very humbling to be on here to share my story and just give the information about what we're doing. So thank you both, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Thanks. And Peter and Stephen, I really appreciate this show. What a phenomenal conversation. I definitely like to thank our special guest, Stephen Michael Wilson, Jr., the founder and CEO of Go Get It Enterprises, LLC, Mr. Go Get It 24/7, 365, for joining us all the way from Boston, Massachusetts. And I'd like to end this with saying tonight we've learned that building fortunes is not just about building businesses. It is about building people. It's about seeing a need in your community, like the referee shortage, and not just complaining about it, but creating a solution that trains youth, provides jobs, builds leaders, and makes the game we all love safer and stronger. Stephen, he's proven this every day, that you can be a successful entrepreneur and a cornerstone for your community at the same time. And everybody listening, please make sure that you connect with him. I wrote that information down from earlier. His website's at www.gogetit247.com, and follow him on Instagram at Mr. Go Get It. That's Mr. GOGETIT 24/7 365, and also at Go Get It 24/7 365 for inspiration, education, and information on his junior referee programs, speaking and consulting services. Is there anything that needs to be corrected with that, Stephen, or is that the right information?
The personal Instagram is just just Mr. Go Get It 247. The business one is Go Get It 247 365.
Okay, I should have asked the question, so noted. No.
Phenomenal job.
Okay, well, on behalf of Building Fortunes Radio and BasketballCoach.News, this is Irvin Harris saying, go get your education. Go get your certification. And most importantly, go get it. Peter?
We're done. This is an excellent radio show. Thanks for people listening in. You just heard from Coach Irvin Harris and Stephen Wilson on BasketballCoach.News. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Building Fortunes Radio on buildingfortunesradio.com. Thanks for listening. Building Fortunes Radio is part of the Humongous AM and Humongous FM radio network. Be sure to check out the buildingfortunesradio.com website to listen to your favorite shows. You can also hear us on Humongous Radio and wherever you find your favorite podcasts. It's been our privilege to have you listen in. At Building Fortunes Radio, we wish you the success you deserve and are willing to work for.
Hello,